Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. Yes, we are back. Myself, Mr. Levi Clay, and my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, bud?
I've changed my name, actually. It's Les Paul now.
Yeah, for those of you that are watching, you can see the monstrosity the mic is wearing. But for those of you that are only listening, well, you need to go and check the video out because I've got Mike wearing that lovely Gibson Les Paul shirt from Wish.com.
I feel like a TTM personified.
Certainly better quality than one. That's actually funny. How have I not pulled up any TTM stuff to talk about today? Well, I guess I'm sure I can give people an update on that. I'm sure that won't be.
Is there more?
It's never ending, mate. Never ending.
Fucking yes. Sorry, excuse me.
So, this is episode 44. We were looking for a famous 44. I know next episode will be called 45, but with
I was going to say Shinedown 45, which is not a great song.
Not a great reference. Episode 44. I couldn't think of any famous 44s. We did look for a second, but
yeah, it was fruitless.
Yeah. Oh well. What are you going to do about it? So as you may expect, we are brought to you today by Ormsby Guitars. So I am just going to bring up some Ormsbys, talk about them briefly. They've just had a website overhaul, right?
Yes, I think it's just a minor overhaul at the moment, but it's looking very slick. They now have a live plug straight to the Reverb store, so you can just click away and put, oh look, that's a nice guitar, I want that one. Click straight to Reverb. Yes. So not only can you go on there and check out the runs and get yourself set up for, that sounded really weird, check out the upcoming runs and the runs that are happening in terms of the actual guitars, but you can also go on and buy anything that's in stock right away, which is fucking great.
I assume that's why it's updated, because I know that they've just had a run that is now being sent out. Is that correct? I mean, we're having stuff sent out right about now. So
Yes. Until I get that confirmation, I'm not going to get super excited.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get super excited, and then I'm going to be even more excited, and impatient, and I'll just be me.
So for those of you unaware, Ormsby Guitars, great guitars made out of Australia by Perry Ormsby, and extremely competitive. I mean, I was just scrolling through these, and I said to Mike, I need this. Where is it? There it is. I need this in my life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think that's the exact 8-string that Chris Zen has. I'm sure that was the one I played when I met him at Death Feast.
Absolutely beautiful. But I'm just going to bring this one up. This is going to be my guitar of the week, guitar of the episode for Ormsby fans.
Just give me it, please.
Yeah.
I love the violent crumble finish. Oh.
Yeah. So look at that. Absolutely stunning guitar.
Deep metallic purple.
Just extremely well priced for what it is. If you want a multi-scale 7-string type thing going on, that is an absolute belter. Really, really enjoy the look of that. For those of you that have been listening for a while, you'll know that originally the guitar Ormsby were sending me was a hype, but I've switched it to a Goliath. So I still obviously need a hype in my life. So yes, thank you very much to Ormsby Guitars. Please do go and check them out online. Let them know that we sent you, and dare you to look at Run 10 and not order one.
Absolutely. And just a little shout out to everyone who's reached out. I don't want to say names because I don't know many other than really Andy Torrance, but we've had a few guys saying messages saying, you put us onto Ormsby Guitars, seem to have picked one up, or I'm really dying to put one, or put a deposit down. Just want to say thank you. Thanks for listening to us and trusting our judgment, and happy new guitar day when it turns up.
Yeah, and as always, send us pictures. We like pictures.
Yes.
Pictures are cool because we get to enjoy them ourselves, but also, not only share them with the community, but also just let Perry know.
Free porn. I'm into it.
He doesn't need the porn. He made the guitar. He's fine with it. Anyway, so we've got a ton of things to talk about today.
Yes.
We've got some more
cut down quite a few things.
Yeah. We've got some more of what does Corey Taylor have to say about something?
Snorri Taylor is what I'm going to call him from now
on. Some rather expensive amp purchases. Phil Anselmo is talking about Pantera. Shut up. A Led Zeppelin story that's rather nice, actually. A strange meme. Some interesting changes in the music business going down potentially in California that could switch things up. I think story of the episode will probably be Trapt, and then putting their foot in their mouth. I mean, not really putting your foot in your mouth. When you put your foot in your mouth, it's an accidental thing, isn't it?
Yeah, they really doubled down.
How high were you? We'll start with Gibson, of course. Chris Poland, the Blood guitar, and we got some beginners guitars and some George Benson stuff. So lots and lots to talk about. But yeah, why don't we start with Gibson and Slash, who has yet another signature model.
Start as you mean to go on and all that. It's not as if we only talk about that in Slipknot.
Does feel that way these days.
See, to be honest though, low-hanging fruit. It's just an easy target.
Well, and there is the joke. Like, we say, what does Corey Taylor think about this? But there's a reason we say that. He's in the news every week telling us his opinion on something that we don't care about your opinion on. Shut up, go and make some good metal again.
Yeah, you'll need to invent a time machine for that.
Yeah. And it's a similar thing with Slash. He's constantly in the news, and it's usually covering a new signature model. And yeah, again, here we go. Another signature guitar that... I mean, to be fair, Slash has played double neck guitars, so we'll give him that. But when I think of Slash playing a double neck, he played a BC Rich double neck, did he not?
I think it was. I'm sure it was a Mockingbird.
The Mockingbird one.
Think so.
I actually think that double neck, it's not a 12 string. I think it's a 10 string. Yeah, I think it's a 10 string. It's like a 6 string, but only the top 4 strings are doubled.
Get you.
Which is kind of cool.
That is cool, to be fair.
Could be talking out my arse on his particular one, but I know BC Rich do that, and always thought that was kind of a nice idea. So yeah, Gibson reveals the astonishingly expensive Slash 1966 EDS 1275 double neck.
Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's your typical SG double neck, the iconic thing that when I see that thing, I think Jimmy Page.
That is fugly though.
Of course.
Please bring that on the screen for those that are watching to see how fugly it actually is. Good Lord. And I don't mean the fact that it's got belt fucking rash in the back yet. Like, okay, fair enough, if that's what you want to do. But, look at the bridge piece.
Let me see if I can bring it out on Gibson's website so we can get a better look.
It's just...
Nope.
Just no. So for those of you that aren't watching, I'll just describe it to you. You have a 6 and a 12 string SG, as Levi was saying. Double neck, black with a black scratch plate, 3-ply with a single white ply in the centre, I think, all silver hardware, kind of old Gibson top hat knobs, a pickup selector between the two bridge plates, and it's just not nice. It is not nice.
That's a very strange picture as well.
That is probably one of the worst promotional shots. What does that... Right, for people who are listening, and I'm sorry for getting a bit animated, right? Go to Gibson's website and look up the Slash 1966 EDS-1275 double neck signed / aged, because the promotional shots for it do nothing but make you think, what the fuck are you trying to show off here? Astoundingly bad shots.
Yeah.
Just...
You can't zoom in on them either, which is very strange.
So you can't see the cracks?
Yeah, good point.
They knew you were going to be on the website and they're like, nope, not having that Levi do his fucking job again.
So it doesn't actually give you all that much information.
No, it does not.
At all, which is very, very strange.
See, for a guitar, and we've not even looked at the price yet, right? But a guitar that literally the line is about how expensive it is, and they don't offer HD shots.
Yeah.
That is a bit weird.
So we've got one here for...
they're better shots. You can zoom in the name.
Yeah, well, of course, because this is on
Anderson's
website.
Ugh. Look at that bridge piece.
So they have put a lot of effort into the aging. Let me bring this up. You can see like there's checking in the paint, which, disgusting bridge. But yeah, okay.
That's the kind of bridge I would build if I want to make my own guitar, because I am a rudimentary child.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So they've done their thing. It does exist, and it can be yours for the mere sum of £11,000. £11,000.
Quick, phone Andertons right now. They've only got one in stock, and you have to spend that. Who cares about a mortgage deposit? Who cares about savings? Who cares about even Brexit? Because you can own that horrendous piece of... I'll be nice and say history.
Yeah.
Ugh. You know what? And I'm going out on a limb and saying this again. I don't really let up on Gibson. I know they're low hanging fruit, but when Andertons are taking much better shots of the guitar that costs £1,100 than Gibson,
who 11,000.
Sorry, 11,000, not 1,100. £11,000 than Gibson, who manufactured it and has to put it out to these places.
Yeah. I saw actually that Mark Agnesi is that the guy that did the Play Authentic video? I'm sure that's the guy that did Play Authentic video. Oh, yes, wow, let's bring that up. Mark Agnesi has been doing a sort of promotional tour. He's been going around shops and things. Look at this scratch. Obviously there by design, but it's still a scratch. He's been going around doing the promotional tour, meeting people in shops, and I've had a bunch of people, like Richard Henry actually is one of the guys that listens to the podcast.
I saw a photo of him with him.
Yes, and everyone's they're ridiculing the guy. Even Guitar, when they posted it on Instagram and Twitter, they were making jokes at his expense. Mark Agnesi just checking sure all our stock's authentic. Those guys are an absolute fucking joke.
I think, to be fair, you would need to be thick-skinned to become anything to do with Gibson.
Yeah. So, not the most expensive thing we've looked at this week, though, is it?
No.
Nice little Dumble Overdrive special up on Reverb at the moment.
Pocket
1979 tan suede. Cool amp, I guess.
Nearly 11,000 views on the ad.
It's mostly people just looking and laughing, right?
You'd hope so, but people are stupid.
Yep.
Or rich.
So we've talked about Dumble a fair amount on the show before, of course, because, ultimately, wouldn't we all like to have one? It'd be nice. If you found one in a garage sale and it was, £400, you're going to buy it, aren't you?
Because I'm going to sell it for fucking God knows what.
Yeah. Well, this one is on sale for £81,000.
No, give it the full amount. £81,687. Sorry, £81,687 and 27 pence.
I'm trying to see if there's a quick way to switch it to dollars, because obviously this is will be a nice round dollar amount, right? But
it's from New Jersey.
It's received 2 offers. Unfortunately, we can't see what those offers are, so probably not as much as that.
Can we put one in? A pat in the back for trying?
No, because I'd win it. That's my luck. Remember this?
But you can give him a pat in the back.
The Spamp.
I'm sorry, that did not cost 81 grand.
No, it didn't. Yeah, so absolute monstrosity, an obscene amount of money. I'm just getting to that stage now where, we were talking about recording, obviously, last episode because we had the Andy James plug-in and the Nolly plug-in. It's so easy to get an incredible tone without even needing hardware like this. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the amps are unnecessary, because I love amps. Friends of the show, Rev. We've got a Rev over there with our own faces on it. And I bought that after having a Kemper. So it's not like I'm going to say my Kemper is the be all and end all, it's all I need. It's nice to have real amps. But
especially real amps that can do so much.
£82,000.
You could actually buy a nice house where we stay for that money.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy a fairly decent flat for 40 grand.
Yeah.
You could buy 2 properties and put them out just to let.
Yeah. Yep. Because, that's one of 2 things. That Dumble is extremely overpriced, and we live in a shithole.
Speak for yourself. I'm proud of where I live.
We live about 100 metres away from each other.
I know.
Definitely shit. You wouldn't, given the opportunity. You know where I want to move?
Where?
DL Park. No?
Spam Valley.
In the big houses. Do
you know why it's called Spam Valley?
No.
Because everybody buys the biggest, most expensive house they can and lives off spam.
That suits me. That absolutely suits me.
That's why
once I'm done with my spam, I will turn them into spamps, and it'll pay for my next can of spam. Yeah, so that's an obscene amount of money, and I just can't see any real justification for that. So what would you like to talk about next? Do you want to do Phil Anselmo, or do you want to do Corey Taylor?
Phil Anselmo.
All right, let's do the
just
rage.
For a little flavour of difference.
All right, I'll leave this one to you.
Yeah, so too little too late in my opinion before I even say anything else, but Phil Anselmo discusses possible Pantera reunion with Rex Brown and Zakk Wylde. And as you commented, so not Pantera then?
Yeah.
I mean, you have 2 members of 4 still alive. The 2 who are probably the most notable from the band have passed away.
This cunt wasn't even the original singer.
But he was obviously the most famous singer.
Yeah, of course.
You can't give it that.
But he wasn't the original singer. To be sitting there he's the guy to be launching this, the guy to be pushing this.
You mean the guy that left the band?
Yeah.
The guy that caused the ultimate breakdown in the band because he was a heroin addict. And I mean, they all had their own addictions. I'm not saying he was solely responsible, but I think it was Great Southern Trendkill that the guitars, drums, and bass were recorded in a completely separate studio to the vocals because Phil refused to be anywhere near them and they felt the same back.
Yeah, absolute idiot. Go on, tell us more about this.
So, in an interview with Chile's Humo Negro, which I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, so hopefully I did, Phil Anselmo was asked about his decision to perform Pantera songs on recent tour with Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals, which is his kind of newest band. I couldn't do it with Down. I wouldn't do it with Down. I wouldn't do it with Superjoint, Phil responded. I didn't have the right people around me in the right circumstance because the last thing on my mind before this all happened was really playing Pantera songs. We were gearing up to do a death metal run with the Illegals, Little Places, and then Vince, obviously Vinnie Paul, died. And then it was like, fuck man, things got important, things got serious, and people started asking, Pantera, 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 he added. So I went to my band and said, what do you think? And they said, let's try. And as we went on, I realised this is pretty good. They play the songs very well. It's not Pantera.
Yeah.
You're not... people didn't go, cool, Vinnie Paul died, Dime's not there either. When are you going to get Pantera back together? Pretty sure the reply would have been, I guess the opportunity for even the slightest fucking knockoff of Pantera's gone. However, that's just me inventing. So, sorry, it continues. I mean, we had about a week to get ready for anything, man. So with each gig, it got better and better and better and better. But in all truth, this is something I never really thought about doing with any band, but especially the Legals, which contradicts what he was saying about he couldn't do it with Down, he wouldn't do it with Down, he wouldn't do it with Superjoint, he didn't have the right people around him in the right circumstance. So you didn't want to do it, but you did want to do it, and you didn't have the right people, but you did fancy it, but you also didn't fancy it. Shut up, Phil. Sorry.
Shouldn't he be Zeke Heiling off somewhere?
Aye, some white wine jokes. Oh, sorry, that was actually white power he said,
Yeah.
because he's a horrible racist.
Yeah.
Just to go completely off the rails, do you think that Dime and Vinny were racist as well? The reason I ask, right, and this isn't like an unfounded dumb question, I like the Rebel Meets Rebel album, or at least I did, until I looked up David Allan Coe, who is a horrendous racist.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's... well, I don't think it is. I think it's entirely... I know it's entirely possible to know people that have views that you don't agree with, that in turn, that doesn't mean that you support their views, just because I think being able to accept that someone has a different point of view to... Case in point, we know Phil Anselmo is a terrible racist. He's demonstrated that. Therefore, are Dimebag and Vinny racist? Well, if it's guilt by association, then yes, absolutely.
No, I'm not meaning guilt by association. I mean I'm not saying, do you think because they were associated with X and Y, then they were of the same ilk? I don't mean it that way, right? Mm-hmm. But I just mean, given the people that did surround them, not that that's any real matter, but even just the context of their upbringing. Their dad was a very famous Texan country producer with his own studio, constantly surrounded by these country stars. I think that's how they met David Allan Coe. Mm-hmm. A lot of them have very questionable views. Dime absolutely loved fucking Ted Nugent, who is a horrendous war-abandoning paedophile, or at least a
allegedly
fantasizer.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, if you write a song about a 14-year-old called Jailbait...
We're going to be talking about legal stuff. I'm no lawyer, but that is one where you definitely go allegedly.
Okay, sorry, allegedly. I'm not saying that Ted Nugent, or there is definite proof, but I think anyone... No, in fact, I take what I said back. I just think he's a bit... writing a song about lusting after a 14-year-old with no real sense of irony, or for it to be just about shock rock, which I don't think it was, in my opinion, is very crass and brass-necked, personally. Anyway, sorry, I've totally off fucking topic. I thought it'd be interesting, but maybe not so much.
But I get what you're saying, because I've never come to the same... I've never come to any conclusion on it, because I didn't know Dimebag, and I didn't know Vinnie Paul.
No, I'm saying, and I'm not saying that as in these guys.
I know the culture they grew up in.
Yeah, it was genuinely more a question of, do you think they might have been just as a... There is nothing to say they were or weren't, but would you think the circumstances probably fit that they were more likely to be or more likely not? But anyway, it's complete fucking...
I'd lean towards yes, and just for cultural reasons. Aye. Like not an informed decision in the same way that, like, when you meet old people and they see gay people kiss on TV and they're like, ugh. It's not for any reason other than that's just the way they've been programmed for a very long time.
Behaviour's learned. I understand that.
Yeah, so I think I don't know why obviously
I can't wait to get called SJWs.
Yeah, I know. I get it all the time. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
So we're going to have to tag this something like Levi and Mike talk about racism and gay rights, and just to see what people do.
Yeah. I love those ones. I always come back. One of my best pals is Count Dankula, right? Yep, that's me, the big SJW. Ha! Idiots. Anyway, so this is speaking about the possibility of the hypothetical Pantera tribute tour with Rex on bass and Zakk Wylde on guitar filling in for Dimebag. He said, well, Zakk is a busy man. He does his own band. He does stuff with Ozzy and all that stuff. We spoke about it maybe one time. So this is bait, isn't it?
Aye.
And I think everybody is, I guess, they're like, keep an open mind about it. We'll see. It's not going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. I have no interest in going to see it, even if Zakk Wylde is on guitar, because Zakk Wylde isn't Dimebag. And we've talked about Dimebag a fair amount on the show, so people probably are aware of the fact that I wouldn't call myself a fan by any stretch of the imagination. Doesn't really do anything for me, but I do know that Dime is a thing. Like, he has a sound, and Zakk Wylde isn't that.
No one is that. Even the people that try to be aren't. And my example would be Ola England. Ola obviously loves Dime. He's got a great collection of Dime's guitars. He's got the original carvings that he used and Randall's, etc. And he's done videos on getting his tone. He's done plenty of videos of him playing the stuff, and he's great at it. But it's not Dime.
Well, it's interesting you mention Ola, because Ola would be a better fit for this gig than Zakk Wylde would.
Aye.
Yeah.
Or even nope, right in my head. That'll come back to me.
Chris Poland.
No, but good segue.
That is a good segue. Let's get away from Phil Anselmo, because we don't like Phil Anselmo.
No, we don't. I'm not a fan of white wine either.
Chris Poland.
Are
you a big fan?
I think he's exceptional. I love his stuff, but I don't know this album.
What? Return to Metalopolis.
I know of it, but I've never really listened to it.
Is that true?
Straight up facts.
Okay.
You seem shocked.
Well, just because I know that Kendo, Big Andy, and the guitar players up here have a big love for this album, so that surprised me. I figured that you were. I don't think it's nearly as great as they would make it out to be.
More a nostalgia thing.
Yeah. But it's still cool. There's still some very, very cool guitar playing.
I'll check it. I love all these solos with Megadeth because they're weird outside the box flavours, and I love what he does with Ohm because I don't really know a lot of jazz fusion stuff, or it's not really jazz fusion, is it? It's more
it's like jam band experimental rock stuff.
Yeah, outside the box but very easy to follow melodies.
Yeah.
I like what he does over them because he's got this nice, completely unique sound, these weird bends, and he's unbelievably tight picking. I don't know if I would. You know what? It's not that I don't think he'd be good at writing metal stuff and doing his own album or whatever it is. I'm guessing it's Metal Consignment Squad, Metalopolis. But I like what he does over the top of other people's stuff. So I don't know so much that I would be really into something that he wrote everything on. Mm-hmm. Does that sound stupid?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. That's how I feel about Alan Holdsworth.
Aye,
I liked him
that's
on
a
other
great
people's
example.
music less so than on his own. But essentially the story is that Chris Poland has announced that he signed to Dave Ellison's relaunched Combat Records label and will release a deluxe reissue of his 1990 solo album, Return to Metalopolis, in November. So, you'll get the opportunity to check that out. And is there talk of a new release? I remember seeing him in the press recently, but I think it was talk about a new Ohm album. Yeah.
It will be, yep.
Yeah, so I know there's a new Ohm album, but the opportunity to have did it say remastered?
Not sure, to be honest. I mean, the reason that I put it in the group was actually because I love the idea of Chris Poland and David Ellison talking. Because Kiko Lorio is amazing, and I don't want him to leave Megadeth, but I'd also love to see those two and Dave and whoever on drums, doesn't matter, just jamming some old Megadeth.
Well, it's something we've talked about before. Chris, Poland, Dave, and Dave Mustaine, Ellison and Mustaine. But Ellison's nothing to do with the band anymore, in terms of his ownership.
Listen, if he gets a wage, he'll be there.
Yeah, but whether he's got the ability and opportunity to turn around to Dave Mustaine, the owner, and be like, hey, I think we should do this. I think Dave Mustaine's always struck me as the type of person where if you told him what you think you should do, he will do the opposite out of stubbornness.
Right, this has just came to me.
Go on.
Right. Hot take. Do you think David Ellison has done this just to basically put the middle finger up to Dave? Like, I know you don't like Chris Poland because apparently he sold all the gear and he kicked him out the band when he was on heroin, but I'm good pals with him now, seeing as you fucked me over with the band stuff.
Probably not. I think that would be reading a bit deep into it. If he's got his own record label and
if this isn't going to be a gossip fucking column, then let's stop it, right? I've had enough. We haven't made any viral headlines yet.
Good point, yeah. Just wait till we do Pulse of the Haggis, though. Yeah. So, I listened to this album again semi-recently, and there's some really cool playing on it, but I think compositionally it doesn't blow me away. Not compared to a lot of the other instrumental albums that, from that era. But like I say, guitar playing is incredible, and it's a good opportunity for people to get better access to an old recording.
Vinnie Moore, Mind's Eyes, the same year, isn't it? 90?
Is that 90?
Is it earlier than that?
I feel like it might be 89. Let's have a look.
Same year, though. But I was just going to say that's one off the top of my head that blows most things out the water, to be fair. 86? Wow.
I was as early as that, yeah.
Okay. Must have been something later on. What album was Meltdown on? Was that Meltdown? Is that the name of the album?
That is on Time Odyssey? No?
I don't know.
Meltdown, yeah. Okay, Meltdown's on Meltdown. Yeah, of course. I see that album cover.
1991.
Time Odyssey, this reminds me of a story. I actually learned quite a lot of picking stuff from Vinnie Moore, not because I had the albums or anything when I was young. I got them later on. Mm-hmm. I remember going into a guitar shop in my hometown of Ipswich, and I forget the name.
Ipswich Massive.
West End Music. I feel it was West End Music. And they had a box of tab books that were marked down that they were just trying to shift, and that was the Vinnie Moore Time Odyssey tab book was in there for like £1 or something. So I was like, "Yep, I'm having that."
Fucking hell!
And that was my introduction to Vinnie Moore. Well, obviously I knew the name, but I hadn't had the access to his music, and that was certainly a way for me to get in there. So I do remember learning things like Morning Star and Beyond the Door.
I didn't know that Jordan Rudess played on that album. The only Vinnie Moore songs that I've sat and tried to learn was Saved by a Miracle, which is the best intro ever. Exceptionally cool tune, and Meltdown. I used to be quite good at playing Meltdown, at least parts of it. And then
I bet you still are.
You play along with it and you go, oh, that remember that time that Vinnie Moore was unbelievably clean and just flavoursome?
Yeah.
Prick.
Yeah, I transcribed actually both of his, the instructional video intros.
You would need to. The fucking shrapnel videos at REH.
Yeah.
You can't read the tab on the screen, so just as well.
Oh, no, but the actual, the intro solos.
I'll
bring them up.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to get us copyright strike right now?
I don't get strikes for these.
Yay! We get to listen to Vinnie Moore shred. Oh, aye, this one. Michael Lee Firkin's intro one's the best one, I think. Not even looking at the fretboard. No fucks to give. Not even looking at the fretboard. No fucks to give.
His synchronization between fingers is just ridiculous.
Flow?
So yeah, I transcribed that for someone, the whole thing, a couple of months ago, and then I did the intro solo on the video that came after that as well. So
Excellent.
yeah, lots of Vinny in my past. He is a great player. So
Phenomenal.
yeah. Okay, so Corey Taylor. We're going to get to do the I'm not a lawyer thing. So, as we know,
anal.
There is a ongoing lawsuit between Chris Fenn of Slipknot percussion fame and Slipknot, more specifically Corey Taylor and Clown.
Yes.
Cool. Which is Sean Crahan, right?
Yes, and I think essentially the lawsuit was, you told me you weren't making money on the side from Slipknot, and you are.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, there's a few things. Essentially, shady business stuff behind the scenes, money being filtered off in places that he was unaware that it was being filtered off to, and him not seeing his cut of things.
Bitch better have my money.
Yeah, again, I don't want to sit here and do the legal expertise thing because I'm not a lawyer, right? But as we've talked about, I certainly have followed a lot of lawsuits from start to finish, taken an active interest from lawyers' perspectives on things. So stories like this annoy me a little bit, right? Corey Taylor and Clown are asking a judge to throw Chris Fenn's lawsuit against Slipknot out of court. So we'll just read this story. Reports that Slipknot singer Corey Taylor and percussionist Sean Crahan are asking the judge to throw the lawsuit of the band's ex-percussionist Chris Fenn out of court. The source reports that according to court documents they obtained, anyone can obtain these documents by the way, this was the first time the two musicians responded to the lawsuit. The report reads, in the documents, Taylor and Crahan claim Fenn's lawsuit was filed in the wrong court. They claim to have no ties to New York, where Fenn filed the case. They claim none of their contracts were executed in the state, nor were any of their albums recorded in New York. They add, other than infrequent performances in New York, when the band had been on national and international tours, Crahan and Taylor simply have no presence in New York. Now, when you read the comments on this article, this is going to drag on and get uglier and uglier, isn't it?
Start to think this is a frivolous lawsuit.
Chris is retarded by going after a band who he knows he ain't got shit on and will lose. All nine of them will make sure of it.
It's very childish to even use the term retarded.
Yeah.
I've done it myself, but I'm quite conscious of it being a word that shouldn't be used as an insult.
I'm just guessing that they're doing this for a mixture of two reasons. Case is really beneath them, waste their time and resources. They want to put that into touring and making more music, and secondly, they know Chris ain't got shit on them. So this is a lot of unqualified opinions, and these opinions are being formed on the basis that Corey and Sean, have asked for this case to be dismissed, right? This is standard practice in any lawsuit like this. Before a case goes to discovery, someone is going to ask the judge to throw the case out for one reason or another. Because what reason have you got to not?
But that exactly, like, these are people with serious money behind them and serious reason to protect their intellectual property and their income. So, of course, they're going to hire good lawyers who are going to go, cool, I'm going to go after this tooth and nail.
Yeah, and the first thing they will go for is they will try and make an argument on jurisdiction. This doesn't say that Chris has no actual claims. It's saying that he's filed it in the wrong jurisdiction.
It also doesn't say that Corey and Sean have asked for that. Oh, no, sorry, it does. That's what they're saying. Yeah. Sorry, ignore me, sorry.
But, yeah, as you go on and read more about this, they contradict themselves quite significantly here, right? So they add that they have no ties to New York. They simply have no presence in New York, right? So as reported, Fenn is a member of Slipknot, or was a member of Slipknot, since 1998, and has accused his former bandmates of not properly compensating for his years of touring and recording with the group. I mean, that's not quite what he claimed. And then here's the interesting part. Chris Fenn's lawsuit targets Taylor, Crahan, business manager Robert Shaw, and his six businesses. It accuses Shaw's New York City company, Rob Shaw and Associates Inc., of managing the band to enrich Corey and Clown out of proportion to the efforts and undivided interests of the other general partners. Right. So right there, it literally says that one of the main guys in the lawsuit that they are suing is a New York City-based company. So how can you possibly be stupid enough to try and have this case dismissed based on jurisdiction? Sure, they can make the argument that, well, this is not strictly our jurisdiction, but in the grand scheme of things, is he really suing Corey and Sean? No, he's suing business. He's suing the business side of things.
And name is part of it. The next sentence, as it says, Fenn claimed that he had been told that all the group's income was being funneled through one company that split the profits between the group members, adding that he only recently discovered the existence of several other Slipknot-related business entities through which other members were collecting more money.
Yeah. So that idea that they have no ties to New York when their business manager is in New York. He is your business manager. You have ties to New York. The jurisdiction, again, in my humble, not a lawyer opinion, is absolutely correct here. What are they suggesting? That what's his name? Chris should be suing the business manager in New York, but he should be then suing the other two in a separate case in Iowa? No. Ludicrous.
Stupid, isn't it? It just... How many films have you watched? How many films have you watched in your lifetime where they say follow the money?
Yeah.
If the money's in New York, then you have links to New York.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with this, right? My suspicion is that this will be settled out of court because the judge will not dismiss this case based on this. If for some reason he does dismiss the case based on this, then what's really important is whether or not he dismisses the case with or without prejudice. If the case is dismissed with prejudice, then we can look at this and say the case was essentially meritless and he doesn't have the option to refile this case somewhere else. But if the case is dismissed without prejudice, then that doesn't actually affect whether or not, I keep forgetting his damn name, Chris has any legitimate claims. The judge has looked at it and just said, you may have some legitimate claims here, but unfortunately this isn't the right place to be filing it.
Yep.
So file your claims elsewhere. So until... And here's the irony. Until we reach that point, internet commentators, please stop pretending to be an expert on this situation, coming from the man that isn't an expert.
You anal.
But the point is, I'm just trying to keep everybody a little bit more on the fence. Look, I get it. There are people out there that love Slipknot, right? I actually have Volume 3 on in the car at the moment. Like, not literally, it's playing as we speak. But
Yeah, just left the car running in the driveway.
But while I'm driving, that is the album that I have on at the moment, right? And I love it. Like, I love those first, 4 Slipknot albums.
Yeah, up to about Volume 3, I think, is where I cut off.
The album after is All Hope Is Gone. It's not the worst. Like, no, it's still heavy.
Volume 3 had its moments of not being heavy as well.
True.
Which I did like, but if I'd known it was a signifier of things to come, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Like, Danger Keep Away is quite an interesting track, but I mean, it may as well just have came straight after Bother on Stone Sour's album.
Yeah, fair.
Sorry, Corey. Two bands, one set of songs.
I love Slipknot too, but for comments like, I'm just guessing that they are really doing this for a mixture of two reasons. The case is really beneath them. It's a waste of time and resources. This band has almost limitless resources, okay? And they want to put that into touring and making more music. Stop speaking on behalf of these people. You don't know... You can't look at this and go, well, the reason they're fighting this is because they're trying to have this dismissed is because they'd much rather use their money elsewhere. No, it's a lot more likely that they're trying to have this dismissed because they don't want to have to fight a very expensive case that there's a potential they might lose on.
And there's every chance that the record label's involved. They maybe take a percentage and they've went, wait a wee minute, you're not taking fucking food off our plate.
Yeah. Like,
there's so
in
many
all honesty,
things.
if Corey and Sean were completely blameless, if it was a clear cut and dry, we've done nothing wrong here. Again, this band has limitless resources.
Yeah.
Okay? You would just go, cool, well, we've got a legal team that are going to take care of this for us, and we're going to run it right into the end. And the reason we're going to run it right into the end is because it's clear cut and dry that we haven't done anything wrong, and therefore, not only will we win and have our costs compensated, but we'll countersue for filing a frivolous lawsuit.
And you'll be destroyed.
Yeah, so...
I love the comment section, just the box at the bottom of the comment section. We all know what Corey Taylor thinks, but what do you think? See, that's just my life.
Yeah.
Like...
so I've been looking forward to talking about that one.
Of course you have.
Yeah. Should we do something pretty?
Let's do it.
I like this.
I'm going to be honest and say I didn't read this.
Good. You can read it now
Okay.
because I didn't mention this at the start of the podcast, but I've got terrible toothache, and you can probably hear it in my voice. Like I'm not talking my normal self. Part of my face is a bit swollen up. So any not reading is awesome.
If 100 people could comment, Levi, go to the dentist, that would be grand. I just want him to look after himself, all right?
You can chat right up, right? I know that you've gone to the dentist just recently, and that was like the first time in a long time.
About a year ago, but I went because I had left myself getting bad and went, cool.
And also, that's you put it off and put it off and put it off.
I was just ignorant, and to be blatantly honest, I also went to emergency dental appointments when I had problems.
Okay.
So don't start your shite. It's my maintenance that's the problem, not the repairs, all right? I like to cure, not prevent, because I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway.
Yeah. You'll really enjoy this. This is a really good story. So this is from Jeff Curtis. This was posted on Facebook. It's doing the rounds. I read it, really enjoyed it, and thought, this is a feel-good moment. Let's share this. So on you go.
Yes. I apologise for everything that I missay and the fact that half of you won't know what I'm saying anyway. A guitar case story. After 47 plus years, I can finally share the following story. In June 1972, I went to see Led Zeppelin perform at the Nassau Coliseum here on Long Island. There was one particular roadie, Mick Hinton, John Bonham's drum tech, who I'd said hello to it the previous year when the group played Madison Square Gardens in 1971. After the latter concert ended, I went up to the row of seats behind the stage at the Coliseum and yelled down to him again. He seemed to recognise me from 1971 concert and yelled hello back. On a whim, I asked if I might come down and help them pack up the equipment. To my complete surprise, he says yes. How do I get down there? He then picks and tosses a guitar case to me. I walked down, past two security checkpoints with the case in hand, up onto the stage and handed it back to Mick. After a few minutes it took to pack up the drums, he says to me, "You can have that." I was speechless to say the least. Where will the guitar go? He took me over and showed me Jimmy Page's #1 Les Paul guitar in its brand new Anvil Road case. The case I was given was being discarded that night since its back was crushed and no longer afforded protection to the guitar. Talk about being in the right place at the right time. You got a broken guitar case, mate, calm down. So began my decades-long
This is actually really fun because he goes into an extreme level of paranoia now. Go on.
Oh, I can feel it already. Like there's a wall of text in front of me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Sorry. So began my decades-long possession of a genuine rock and roll artifact. But I also realised from that point onward that it was something I couldn't talk about. While there have been a small handful of friends over the years who were aware that I had it, I'd kept this in a deep secret over the past 47 years in fear that someone might either burglarise my house or worse, threaten me in order to steal it. For this reason, I decided a couple of years ago that I no longer wanted the guitar case.
Incredible level of paranoia.
Aye. Like, it's alright, mate. It's not like Jimi Hendrix's DNA and we've got a cloning machine. Don't swear it. Despite its certain significant monetary value to a collector, I had also decided that I wouldn't ever sell it since making money off someone else's fame is simply against my principles.
That's nice.
Okay, fair enough. I decided that I would find a way to personally return it to Jimmy Page. But how to accomplish this? How would I get in touch with the right people to set up a meeting? Back in July, I went to see the Play It Loud exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. Jimmy Page's #1 Les Paul guitar was one of the instruments on display. I got the idea that maybe I could be put in touch with his people via the exhibit's curator. A few days later, I called the museum and spoke with the curator's assistant, who asked me to send an email with photos, which I did. About 2 weeks later, I got a call from a gentleman, Perry, who worked with Jimmy. He asked to set up a meeting to personally examine the case and take several more detailed photos. About a month later, I received word that Jimmy wanted to meet me and have the case returned. Cool. So, on a beautiful Sunday afternoon in a hotel lounge in New York City, my 2 daughters, a close friend and I had the pleasure of a 1-hour sit-down and conversation with Jimmy, with him finally getting the guitar case back. When I opened it up, the look on his face was priceless. What memories this brings back. Thank you so much. In person, he's a genuinely warm and very welcoming gentleman. We talked about Led Zeppelin. He asked about my musical influences, asked my daughters what type of music they enjoyed, and various other topics. I gave him copies of both my CDs, which he said he would listen to. He also had brought me a special limited box set edition of Led Zeppelin 2 and signed its book, as well as another book I had brought with me. I can honestly say that after the first few minutes, my nervousness completely disappeared and it felt like I was talking with an old friend. Nevertheless, The experience of having the opportunity to sit down with the very person whose music not only greatly influences my own, but also inspired me to initially pick up and learn to play the guitar almost 50 years ago is something that I will never forget. Thanks so much, Jimmy, and thank you, Perry. Mission accomplished. It's pretty fucking cool. And you know what, like, just to lean into that point, I think if you met someone who was genuinely that famous and had that much rock and roll heritage, they probably would be cool, because I get the impression that Jimmy Page is pretty down to earth with it, because he's like, I was in Zeppelin. You know what I mean? Like, you get past the point, I would think, of being almost starstruck by your own fame. You would just get to the point where you're like, cool, aye, sound, no bother. It doesn't have to be a big deal, because you want to encourage the people that want to talk to you but are nervous, and discourage the nutters that are super fanatic. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want them to buy into some sort of cult of personality towards yourself.
Now, me being me, I have to criticise this, don't I?
Here we go.
I do really enjoy the story, but I also look at it and I'm like, yeah, no, I like the guy that's done this. He has held on to this case for such a long time, and he's right. It probably would be worth a small fortune,
for the right collector, and any sort of proof that it's true and real, which obviously is now, apart from the fact now that Jimmy owns it.
Yeah,
but you're right.
And it feels to me like his meeting, like Jimmy Page felt that him giving an hour of his time was equivalent to that value. And it just feels a little bit off to me. It just feels a tiny... Like, if I was the guy that had kept this guitar case for 47 years, or however long he said, and you turn up and you meet Jimmy Page, you talk for a bit, and Jimmy's like, hey, I've got this this cool little box set that has just come off the press. Here, have it. I'd be like, no compensation for the storage fees for the last 47 years.
Storage fees?
Well, yeah. No, I don't mean literally, but like, you know more than anyone. Like, guitar cases take up a lot of space.
Yes.
This one caused considerable stress for the guy. I'm not saying he should be suing Jimmy or anything, but I'm just like, it surprises me. It surprises me, because that was a case that Jimmy had clearly okayed having thrown away 47 years ago, and now he's got the joy of getting this thing back.
Right. So essentially, what you're saying is you understand that it didn't mean a lot to him at the time.
But 47 years later, you look back and you go, actually, I wish I didn't throw that away.
But he's never said that. He never hunted it down. He was happy for it to go in the bin because it was a broken case.
Well, 47 years ago, he went to the effort of, meeting up with the guy to have it given back to him. Because I look at it, it's a battered old case.
Of course, but I don't think that was that was a guitar case, the one that got away.
No,
I think that was more a matter of courtesy. Like, if it means that much to this guy, that it means that much to me. The value of it is completely sentimental. That's what I take away from it. Yeah. It's like a humble rock and roll star of going, fuck, I've made a change to that guy's life. Like, if he genuinely cares about my playing that much, he'll hold a case for 47 years and then decide he wants to try and return it to me and go to the efforts of going to a museum and asking the museum's curators to contact me, then cool. Like, I'm going to give this guy what he's looking for, which is literally just a bit of time and a thank you and some personal touch. That's what I take from it. I
really like what you said there. For two reasons. No, not even but. No. For two reasons, right? One, because it's a genuinely, like, it paints Jimmy in a nice light, and also because it leaves the door open to the possibility that as soon as this meeting was finished, Jimmy threw that case in the bin.
Well, see, if he did, who cares? Like, your man here's got a fucking great experience in his life. You know what? It's probably gave him closure to having that for so long.
Yeah.
From being somebody that's extremely paranoid about the value of it and the risk that owning it has, to returning it to its genuine rightful owner.
Yeah.
Please bring up that meme.
Or, thanks so much for the... No, because I want to do this because of the ad roll at the end of it. Cool. We'll do the meme. It's Jimmy Page. Like, he must own like 100 guitars, 200 guitars, 300 guitars, 1,000 guitars. Hey, thanks so much for the case. Here's a guitar I've not played in 10 years. Now, I'm not saying he should have done that. I'm just saying, like, if I were in his shoes, that's what I would have done. Like,
right, cool. So I've kept your Kemper, your electric kit, and a few of your bits in my garage. Does that mean you're going to give me one of your guitars?
Yeah, see that ukulele? See the shirt you're wearing, you ungrateful prick?
I know. To be fair. What about a Clone Centaur? I'm sure you've got one of them kicking about.
Yep. I actually haven't talked about the... I've been meaning to do an update on that Wish video.
My new signature guitar.
The strings that are on that guitar held up absolutely fine. They feel brand new. So they feel like elixirs. I'd even go as far as saying I'm starting to suspect that maybe they are genuine elixirs that are in stock in China, that they have in stock in shops in China and that have been sent over. It could be totally wrong, but they've got that coated string feel to them. So, yeah. And the Clone Centaur, or the Clone Centaur.
I would absolutely call bullshit and ridicule you if I didn't trust your opinion so highly, because I know how horrendously critical you are of everything.
Well, so I'm not saying that is the case, but if it turned out that was the case, I wouldn't turn around and go, well, I refuse to believe that.
No, but my point being that if it's close enough to the real thing, to the point where you can't tell the difference, then it may as well be.
Yeah.
It served its purpose. You got cheap guitar strings that might last a decent amount of time.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm going to put them through their paces. Anyway, so
I've got exceptionally sweaty hands if you want me to fucking destroy them.
Yeah, fine. I mean, I've just been sitting on it and wiping my ass all over it, just like...
Right, so speaking of destroying, Levi and I have previously destroyed the notion of beginner's guitars, lists, blah, 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 right? However, we're going through Music Radar and we're like, cool, this is now BuzzFeed for musicians.
Yeah.
And found the top 10 best guitars for beginners.
You know the sign that is BuzzFeed for guitars? The fact that when you look at the article, it's by Music Radar. Nobody even wanted to put their name to this.
Music Radar Total Guitar.
Yeah.
So, here we have the top 10 best guitars for beginners, which is, go back up to step your headline, find the best cheap electric and acoustic guitars for kids, small hands, and newcomers. Right, let's see if we're going to tear straight into this or if we're going to agree with any of the points. All right? Do you want to go acoustic or electric first?
I don't give two shits about acoustic guitars.
Let's do that then. Even better.
Well, no, because I'll have to take their word for it. Cool, the Fender CD60S, all mahogany. Cool. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. It's an acoustic guitar, I don't care.
Here's what I'm going to say, right? Well, I will give you my opinion as someone who used to have to sell acoustic guitars in a retail setting, and I'm not big on acoustic guitars myself, but I've played a few very nice ones, and I've also played a lot of cheap ones, and the difference in them can be staggering. I'm not going to lie.
Agree. Yep.
So, first thing I would point out is the fact that it says all mahogany, right? It's a solid mahogany top. That's great. As long as that's looked after, it'll age well, and it'll sound better with age. That's a good thing. Laminated mahogany back and sides, and a mahogany neck. There's every chance that will be a decent guitar. The Fender stuff is generally okay. However, right, the point in this wasn't for me to analyse the guitars over the top. We'll just go through it and see if we're like, what? So, Yamaha, again, generally do quite stark guitars. You know what I'm going to say? The two of these are priced round about £200 already. You can probably get better guitars for £200. As a starter or otherwise.
Yeah, I don't want to say you probably could get better, because without being able to play this and then try other ones at the £200 price point, if you're looking at a £200 beginner's acoustic guitar, I would expect to see a Fender and I'd expect to see a Yamaha.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
If there's not a Sigma on this list, I'll be surprised. The Little Martin, that's not really a starter guitar. £450.
Reasonably expensive.
This is for people who want to be Ed Sheeran but can't write songs and don't realise that small guitars equals bad tone. So, each to them. Speaking of another terrible Baby Electro, Taylor Big Baby, put that in the bin. Also £430. No. Now,
I like these parlour guitars.
I'm going to be honest, I'll take back talking about small body guitars, because parlour guitars are the exception.
Yeah.
And I've played a few of the small body Gretschys, and good. Very good, actually. So, the list isn't terrible so far, but pricing's a bit mental.
Yeah, so moving on to electric guitars, the Squier Affinity Stratocaster. Now, of course, this is going to be the go-to answer when somebody says, what is a great starter guitar? You're going to go for the cheapest Squier. £200.
Not even good firewood, because I've laminated the wood so heavily in fucking lacquer that you can't do anything with it. Just total off point, right? Have you ever tried to sand down a Fender guitar? Even a Squier?
Yes, actually. No, I did it with my my Mexican when my who has that guitar now? Mark Thompson has that guitar. My Fiesta Red Strat.
Right.
I started to sand the like a chunk out of the horn at the back to make it more like a Sir.
Like a contour so that you get better access? Okay, yep.
And it was a bitch. It was a bitch.
I've had a few project guitars. I've had a Squier, I've had a Fender. The Fender that I had was in fucking some nick. Anyway, I burnt out 2 electric Sanders. And I didn't get to the paint. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you coating these things in? Because the military should be getting them fucking tanks painted in it. Jesus.
What a pile of horse shit.
Look at that absolute monstrosity.
I knew that Slash would make another appearance in this episode.
I would never endorse anything like that. Disgusting. No, in all seriousness, that's fucking disgusting.
The Epiphone Slash Appetite for Destruction Les Paul Special 2.
But wait, it's got a built-in tuner.
You're telling me that there wasn't an Epiphone guitar that didn't have Slash's name on it, so someone could, save £70. Excellent value for money, apparently.
250 quid for a bad Epiphone that doesn't even have the right control layout. Fuck off.
The Squier Bullet Mustang.
Now, to be fair, it's a short scale guitar at 120 quid. All the short scale stuff I've played from Squier has been pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even just for novelty. And I say that as someone with fairly big hands.
Yep, but I'm also looking at this and saying, well, this is the second Squier on the list.
Maybe there's some
It's almost like a sponsorship money in this.
Maybe.
Oh, a Gretsch. Who owns Gretsch?
Fender?
Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it? To be fair again, though, I'm surprised at how good the newer Gretsch stuff is with a few of the streamliners in the shop. With and without the floating bridges, or the fucking, what do you call it? Bigsby style tremolo. And what are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the price, the difference between dollar and pounds. So this is $250 to £250. You see that sometimes. Switch a dollar out for a pound. Squier, okay, 149, 120. That's probably closer to the actual conversion, right?
I'd imagine there'll be certain ones they've just set it at like a set amount per countries and not really worried about changing conversion, but that's mental. you know why that'll be? I'd imagine they consider Gretsch as some sort of prestige brand in the States. However, it's a very good point to bring up when they're talking about the best starter guitars, the top 10 available cheapest starters, $750 for
I have
a
to feel
semi-hollow.
that price must be wrong. Because if you're in America and you're considering buying that, buy it from the UK and have it shipped to America.
And save a couple $100.
Yeah.
Like, they're about $350 though in the UK, to be fair.
Now, the Yamaha Pacifica is a guitar that I always recommend.
Yes.
I like the Yamaha Pacifica stuff.
Solid built, fairly good hardware, great options, not wild. You don't have crazy floating trems or any weird hardware to deal with.
Yep.
Just very well made.
Yeah, they just
Great
do the
guitars.
job.
I mean, I've said it before. Craig, the other guitarist in Party Cannon, he's got a Pacifica.
Yeah.
I've set that up and we've played gigs with it, and it's been great. It sounded great. It's held up, stayed in tune. Like that's an endorsement you can stand behind. It's good. It works.
Works for Party Cannon.
There we go.
Okay, so there was only 5 electric guitars. What would your recommendation be then? What, if you had to recommend a beginner guitar player?
I'm going with acoustic. I would say probably the acoustic, the Ibanez starter pack. They do one that's about 100 and maybe 140, 150 quid. Fairly decent acoustic guitar. Picks, tuner. I think you get pitch pipes as well. Shitty wee gig bag that you could spit through. Like, just wee bits and bobs. The stuff you need to learn. Like,
What an amazing description.
You could, though. If it rained lightly, your guitar would disintegrate. It's like fucking candy floss. Cotton candy for the Americans, if there's anyone there listening. Anyway. Like that fucking tracing paper.
I mean, I was going to interrupt you and say I don't care about acoustic guitars. I've told you this once, but after having that description, I'm all right with it. So.
Cool, that's fine. So those were always fairly good guitars. Like QC was at least decent. Couldn't really complain with the amount of stuff you got in the box. Electric-wise, I probably would go a Pacifica.
Okay.
Because if you're going to buy an electric and you're going to put the money in as some sort of investment, it's a guitar you'll keep for life. Or you could keep for life and you wouldn't be unhappy.
Yep.
I've seen people selling some of the higher end Pacificas. I've seen a 612V recently. Wilkinson Trem. I think it's got locking tuners, a Tusk nut. I want to say active pickups, but
I mean, they're good guitars. Michael Lee Firkins used to play them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Loads of cool guitars.
Well, you know what I'm going to recommend?
What you got excited by that earlier on?
We'll talk about Ormsby at some point, but the Harley Benton Fusion 2, right? So it's a little bit more expensive, £350. I find the problem with beginner guitars is you have to spend a reasonable amount of money.
Yes.
To make sure that, because when we talk about beginners guitars, more often than not, at least the settings I found myself in, we're talking about parents buying guitars for children.
Yes.
And they don't want to spend much money because they're probably just going to give it up.
Oh, like
you're the reason they're giving it up because you buy them these horrible guitars that are hard work to play, that hurt your hands.
That was the advice I used to give when I worked in the shop. Like my first acoustic guitar, I loved it, but after playing it, having bought a guitar or two after that, like I realised how horrendous it was. Not because it was a bad guitar per se, but it was cheap and it wasn't set up and it didn't have any care and attention. And it just had features, or there was parts of it that could have been improved dramatically for not much more money.
Yeah.
So I totally get what you're saying. If you make it hard for somebody to enjoy playing guitar and learning, then they're not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this, I honestly feel this is a guitar that a young player could play for many, many years.
I'd like to try one before we start really diving in, but on paper,
that's fair. Okay.
Super impressive.
That is fair. I haven't played one of these myself. I'm only going on what I've been told by other people that have played them.
Well, to be fair, you've also spoke to people who own the guitar. I haven't.
Yeah. So I've been told that like the fretwork is immaculate. Just genuinely a very well put together guitar, especially for the money. But for me, it's a good looking guitar. It's a nice looking guitar. Obviously inspired by the Guthrie.
Just a wee bit.
Stainless steel frets, roasted maple. The Wilkinson trem. Love the Wilkinson hardware. That is just... I
like they've went to the effort of, on such a cheap guitar, getting really, really good veneers for the body, like a really heavily flamed maple. The fact it's got quite a highly flamed roasted maple neck as well. Like, you're right, it's a really good looking guitar. It is, except that headstock.
Yeah, less than ideal. Lock-in tuners? That, absolute winner. Well done to the guys over at Harley Benton for putting this together, because I'm really impressed with that.
Oh, totally. You could look at that, right, and not look at the headstock and go, that's a really nice Excalibur.
But you know what else I'd recommend?
Show us your big fantasy, my boy.
Back to Ormsby Guitars. Big thank you to Perry and the guys over at Ormsby for supporting the podcast.
We love you.
I don't get to sit here and say that I would like one of these for any reason other than actually wanting one. Like, I'm going to go to the Run 9s? Run 10s? 11s?
Run 11. The Run 12 is the Dino Cazares, which has just come out, if you want to put that up, the signature.
Okay, the Red Dead. The Red Dead, I don't need a Red Dead because I've got a Red Dead coming, but that, what a stunner.
No, the denim. They're all fucking gorgeous. Let's be totally honest. They are fucking outrageous.
So I think we talked about the Rusty Cooley last time.
Have you seen the Dino Cazares ones?
Yeah. Not my cup of tea, to be honest. But
are you joking? Are you fucking... You know what it's like, right? Every metal guitarist, everybody that likes metal that's ever owned a guitar that's for any sort of extended range stuff has owned a Christian Old Wilburs. Single humbucker. 24 frets, I'm sure this is as well. Just a fucking all out, who cares about anything else except riffs machine. And this is it. Look at it. And you know what? See the purple finish, the Violicious. Oh my god. I've got this wee thing about purple these days. I don't know what it is, but look at them. Oh my god.
I like that it's offered with both the multi-scale or baritone straight frets. That's kind of cool.
There seems to be quite a bit moving forward, which would be good for people who haven't tried the fan frets and maybe are a bit worried about it or have tried it and don't like it. A lot of the guitars are coming now with an option for just straight fret setup or for the extended range. Dino's is a slightly shorter extended range. I think it's like a 26.2 to 25.5 or a standard baritone. You'll need to scroll up to confirm that, and if that was right, I'm proud of myself for remembering, but it's probably wrong. So 26.5 to 27.5 multi-scale or a 26.5 baritone. Oh, so it's a baritone or a baritone plus the multi-scale. Even cooler.
Yeah.
Even fucking cooler.
So, yep, there you go. Not necessarily recommended for beginners,
No, probably not.
but still very cool.
Although, if you're a beginner and you want to spend a lot of money on something you will keep for life, that is a guitar to jump into. One other thing just to mention about that guitar is that I think it's the first one that's came from Ormsby directly that will ship with active pickups.
Okay.
It comes with Dino Cazares' newest signature, which is a Seymour Duncan Machete. I fucking love the name of it. Yes, Dino, get that money.
Yeah. Cool. So I like this one. I've not even read the full story. I just read the title to this and burst out laughing.
Yeah.
Said my joke and then moved on. But I feel I need to share it. Not because the joke is good, but because what has been said is so ridiculous. George Benson, quote, "I've always been an experimenter. When I was young, I thought I was going to be a scientist." Coming from the Jehovah's Witness.
A man that denies science empirically.
Yeah. Right.
I like how that was like, no, bye.
Let's do the heavy one. I told you I'd just do the joke and move on. I don't even care what he's trying to say. Like, you're an idiot.
Well, can I just put the joke out before we even talk about this? This is the heaviest thing they've ever done.
Trapt.
Yes.
What, being headstrong?
No, the story, you said the story was heavy. Their music isn't heavy.
No,
It was a joke on that. Levi's ruined it before we even spoke about it.
Well, no, I was just saying by being headstrong.
But even then, you led my good joke into a bad one.
So,
Sorry.
Mind the band Trapt?
Headstrong, I'll take you on. Headstrong, I'll take on anyone. Apparently.
Yeah, we should have done the Glenn Fricker story because obviously they had the beef with Glenn Fricker. But I decided not to run with that one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I look at this. See how I'm not saying anything? Like that isn't like me imitating being speechless. I don't know what to say.
I'm going to read it out, but only for the benefit of people who aren't watching. All right.
I was going to read it, but yeah, you read it.
Do you want me to read it? Because then you can
I can rest my face.
That's it. I'll let you be speechless for a couple more minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody listening is so thankful. Finally, shut up. Sorry. Anyway, right. So, Trapt official Facebook page, and this is one of their posts. Which, for those that aren't watching, there's 5 or 6 emojis throughout it from where they've edited it, etc. And it's just it's a minefield. Anyway, Trapt have wrote. I don't even know how to start it, man. I'm like, what? Anyway, the article, or sorry, the post begins. Unreal that a Muslim girl who the United States saved from her shithole of a country, Somalia, as a refugee many years ago would grow up to be a philandering anti-Semite and become the first member of Congress to ever describe terrorists who killed thousands of Americans on 9/11 as some people who did something. Her name is Eliane Omar, representing Minnesota's 5th District. I wish I could say more, but Facebook would probably kick me off this platform. We will never forget 9/11. What's up, Minneapolis? Why would you vote for this woman? Some people are so easily triggered. Wow. No one here is Islamophobic, simply stating how much it sucks to hear a member of Congress minimise what happened to those murdered on 9/11. Just want to make that clear. And it's signed off by CTB, whoever that is. And then what I'm guessing is an edit. He puts a star in as if that's some sort of, I don't know, universal language of edits. Looks like Antifa has infiltrated. Smiley face. Not everyone can love America. Shrugging little man. There are around 3.5k likes / loves and 700 angry faces and laugh faces. Some of those 700 may also be on the like / love side. So you got 500 assholes commenting dozens of times since they don't have jobs, shrugging man. Star again. Every time I add to this post, we get another dozen Antifa members to prove why they should either be fired from their jobs or don't have one in the first place. Keep coming, Brez.
It's a really difficult one for us to talk about something like this, right? Because we're not American.
I'm going to say, first of all, that I haven't looked this up, so I don't know what the source material from them ranting has came from. Whether this was taken out of context or whether this person has used their freedom of speech to say something that's maybe unpopular, or if they just have a wildly horrible point of view on the world. But I would guess, given they're a member of Congress talking about something so serious, that they've maybe said something flippant or in context that makes it okay that has been dived on. I don't know, but might be.
You know, like, okay, so I did read into this.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say that she's, an anti-Semitic piece of shit that hates America. The whole situation in the Middle East is rife for moral interpretation. People fall on different sides of the Israel-Palestine argument. That's a fact of life. You know what I mean?
What do you mean? Say again. You're always going to get people on either side.
You will have some people that are supporters of Israel, and you'll have some people that are supporters of Palestine.
Sorry, right, I misunderstood
is what I meant,
you saying.
right?
Of course, you're absolutely right. There's always going to be a dividing line between opinions and people.
Yes. That needs to be accepted. So, to immediately just label someone as an anti-Semite, because she has said things that many people would go, cool, that's anti-Semitic. Fine. That is a thing that has happened.
She said things that are anti-Semitic would be accepted as anti-Semitic.
That's the point.
Okay.
Things that you could go, that's not supporting Jewish people. Therefore, you're an anti-Semite. I don't think that's probably the case.
That could be interpreted as
absolutely.
Okay.
And you'll know. And the one that really riled people up is the "some people who did something" thing, and that part's been put in quotes, right? Because it has been stripped of all the larger context. Because to be fair, if you asked me, what happened on 9/11, it wouldn't be inaccurate for me to say some people did something.
Yes.
That is an accurate statement.
Absolutely.
I could go into a lot more detail, but some people did something is an accurate statement. The wider context of this wasn't her, because it gives the impression that she's being dismissive of 9/11. Oh, it's not a big deal. Some people did something.
Yeah, when you read that, you think she's being flippant.
Yes, which wasn't the case. I don't think she was being flippant in the slightest. So to remove that is, a pretty shitty thing to do. What we're getting at here, though, is, the they've even used the term shithole country, right? That's a Trump thing, right? Go back to your shithole countries. That's the woman that was initially pitched at. This is, it ties back to that. So what I think we're really getting from this is, Trapt, or at least one member of Trapt, whoever's dealing with the social media, probably a big Trump supporter.
Make Trapt great again.
Yeah, and I don't like going down the whole route of if you're a Trump supporter, you're a racist, because I don't believe that's the case. Just like I don't think that if you're a UKIP supporter, you're automatically a racist. Because there's more to Donald Trump than his immigration policies. Just like UKIP. The one aspect of UKIP I could get behind was the importance they place on freedom of speech.
Yep.
And smaller government, not having as much government getting involved in your day-to-day life, almost like libertarian politics, which is probably a reasonably good description of me. So, yeah, when I look at this, I don't want to automatically say all Trump supporters are racist, but this is your prime example of someone that, to me, has clearly latched on to that side of the propaganda, and it is propaganda surrounding Donald Trump and his administration as a whole.
Yep. To not acknowledge that almost every bit of communication in the media that you get is some form of propaganda would be ignorant at best.
Yeah. So
yes, Trapt, you are completely entitled to your opinions on people and events. However, firing that on your official banned Facebook page is fucking stupid.
Firing it on your official Facebook page is best described in your own words. Unreal. Unreal that a band thought that this was a good idea to post.
But it gets worse. They doubled down and then tripled down. So in this screenshot, there are the original post, a star that looks like the first edit and a star that looks like the second edit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're literally calling people to comment on it. Are you trying to release a new album or something and hope that all the hardcore people that agree with your points are going to buy it? Your music's terrible. Deal with it.
You've not been relevant for 15 years. Deal with it.
If Mike for Partican is saying your music's terrible, accept it.
There's something else in this post that I just wanted to dig into, though. Did you see? I forget the guy's name, but you know that there's that black guy that sort of deconverts members of the KKK. I can see him in my mind. I know what he looks like, but I can't put a name to his.
That's just the chap that spent 30 years getting friendly with
Racists.
the Grand Dragons, and like the whatever, blah blah blah, like the total top end level guys,
Yeah.
and then completely de-radicalising them.
He's de-radicalized hundreds of people.
Yes,
Like an absolute legend, an absolute fucking legend as far as, you know, helping society improve. Anyway, the reason I bring him up is because, he's just been labelled a white supremacist by many members of Antifa. So
Daryl Davis.
that's the guy. Yeah.
So he met an imperial wizard of the KKK in Maryland, Roger Kelly, and that was one that he managed to. How can you call that man a white supremacist?
Well, because he talks to other white supremacists.
He's
ignore the fact he's black.
Yeah, he's only talking to those white supremacists about how white supremacy doesn't exist. So maybe we'll just take that out of the equation.
Yeah.
See, that's decontextualising things and just labelling them. Like I'm probably guilty of it, and I accept that. Sure. If I'm challenged on it, I'll take it in the chin, right? I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm definitely open to interpretation and common sense. And I don't think that... In fact, why am I even getting deep on this? You are literally calling a man who is de-radicalising KKK members of the highest level and calling him a white supremacist.
Yeah, and it is worth pointing out, like,
it's like saying that Fallon was part of Black Lives Matter.
We're labeling Antifa as an organised group, and of course, Antifa isn't an organised group where you have a membership. Like, anybody can use that as a term of identification. So it's not talking about a wider. It really, what we should say is there are people out there. The badge that they choose to label themselves under is irrelevant. There are some people out there that are so stupid that they are calling a black man, who has de-radicalised hundreds of white supremacists, they're calling him a white supremacist, a man that has done more to help race relations than you punching Nazis will ever do.
Yes.
Because, as I've said a million times, when you punch Nazis, they don't change their minds. In fact, they just get angrier.
Some of them.
I would like to meet the person that has a strongly held belief, gets punched for having that strongly held belief, and goes, "Oh, you know what? I changed my mind."
Well, it might at least stop them in thinking that it's something they can expand.
And that's
a
different
public,
thing. That's. I'm not saying you're being pro punch a Nazi. I'm saying that you're saying the tactic works. Because just because they reconsider whether or not they should say it in public is very different to has changed their mind.
Correct, but it might be the seed that starts that. I'm not saying, cool, let's label everyone Nazis and punch them.
Yeah.
Right? You and I have had this conversation and you completely outwitted me, as you often do, you prick. Right? But my heart was in the right place.
No, of course.
I was going to say something.
I wouldn't hang about with someone who I thought's heart was in a terrible place.
Of course not. Can we rename Antifa to Absolfa for absolute fannies?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
At least these moron extremists, or whatever you might call them, the ones that are claiming that a man who, as you said, is doing more for race relations than just about anybody else on the planet at the moment, is a white supremacist.
Yeah.
You're a bit off kilter there, chaps.
Yeah.
Good effort though.
Sort it out. Maybe, look at all the good he has done, Daryl Davis has done. Look at all the good you have done. I get it, you've got to riot and you've got to loot some shops in that, and you've probably all got new TVs out of it. Fucking good for you, yay, destroy capitalism and all that shit. 200
of you surrounded a man with a camera who goes on YouTube and just likes to report things completely independently and try to punch him.
Yeah.
Great.
When you say that, you're not talking about one isolated incident. That's probably happened hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Probably.
Again, still not worked, still not de-radicalised absolutely anyone, whereas Daryl Davis, on the other hand, again, done an awesome job of that. So,
which is ironic because attacking people trying to suppress their views is quite fascist for an anti-fascist organisation.
Yep.
Good effort. Anyway, we've went completely off rail.
We do politics way too much on this podcast.
I think it's because it's really good to get views in from people who hate us.
Well, the thing is, we talk politics, but at no point am I ever going to tell you who to vote for. Especially as this is a podcast available internationally.
Yes.
So I've got no business telling you who to vote for if you live in America. I don't live there. What do I fucking know?
You've got no business telling anyone who you vote.
And likewise, we've got no listeners in the UK because we've really got no listeners in the grand scheme of that kid. But
no, we do all right.
I'm going to tell people who to vote for. Cool. Go out, do some reading, try to cut through the bullshit, think about things, do what works for you.
Have heated but reasonable debates with your friends, because it absolutely will either solidify your point and prove you right, or it'll make you come to a very important decision in your life of, do I believe that or do I believe in this other point?
It's a really interesting one because they say never talk religion or politics with your friends or family. And part of me absolutely agrees with that. And part of me, I know how happy I am to berate religious beliefs.
Yes.
So I guess I should be just as happy to berate political beliefs. But I think in our day and age, especially with our generation, that religion is dying off so dramatically. Strongly held religious beliefs are very, very few and far between compared to strongly held political beliefs.
But can I maybe interject and say, I don't think that you personally ridicule strong religious beliefs or political beliefs, just stupid ones or ignorant points of view, because I'm sure if someone said to you, it's just my belief or whatever, that I find great comfort in this part of religion or whatever, blah blah blah, you'd be like, cool, that's great, that's good for you. No, okay, fine.
I'm very much of the street epistemology background. I'm very much a tell me what you believe and why, and that's the important part. Why do you believe what you believe? Because if you don't have good reasons to believe the thing, I find when you have discussions with people on things like that, they often believe things without not just not having a good reason to believe them, but never really thinking why they believe these things. And the more they think about, well, actually, why do I believe this? The more you find that they start going, do I believe this, or is this just sort of like, the thing that I say, like, oh, I tick the Catholic box or whatever.
But no. Let me elaborate, right? If you were having this conversation with me, for example, and I said, well, actually, I've never really spoke about this, but I'm deeply religious because I found a lot of inspiration when I was reading through the texts, and I was through a really dark time, and I just found that this was a really good coping mechanism for me. It was a really positive energy in my life, and I'm not out to throw it down Andy's throat or whatever else, but this worked for me. I think you would probably... Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I think you would respect at least that.
Well, yeah, because I can't possibly argue with what you've said. If you said this did work for me and this helped me, that's one,
my point.
Yeah, that's one thing entirely. And I do think that there are definitely aspects of religion that do help people, in great ways. But the age old saying goes that a good person will do good things, a bad person will do bad things. But the only thing that can make a good person do bad things is religion, and I can get on board with that. If you were to have that discussion with me, I would be inclined to turn around and say, so you are a fan of the Bible, and then ask you what your thoughts are on slavery and point out all of the many
genocide, beating your wife with a whip as long as it's thin in your thumb.
Yeah, homophobia.
Selling your daughter for cattle, being killed for wearing two different types of material.
Yes, I was literally just going to go the mixed fabrics. Yeah.
It's just... Have you ever seen The West Wing? Martin Sheen?
No.
It's a political drama based, obviously.
Yeah. I know the show, but I never... Yeah.
There's a scene in that where there's someone... The president walks in, they've got a big press meeting or whatever, and this woman who's a religious fundamentalist or whatever, or is from some religious outlet, won't stand up, and everybody's standing, and he just goes to town on her, and that's the kind of content of what he goes along by, and it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
So you've come in here before to do podcasts, and you've seen that I had the Atheist Experience up, which is a show that I watch every week. And there are classic clips. The most classic clip of all time is Matt Dillahunty absolutely losing his mind talking to a fundamentalist Christian who is talking about God's omnipotence and omnipresence, and the classic, like, if there's a man raping a child, then your God is incapable of stopping it, or chooses not to stop it, and both of those you have an asshole of a God.
It's indefensible.
It is indefensible, right? And the guy on the call, obviously, he doesn't really skip a beat, but this is kind of programs the indoctrination. His opinion, he made it very clear. Yeah, but she was a sinner, so she deserved it.
No one.
If God allowed it to happen, she was being raped because she deserved it.
That's fucked, isn't it?
Yeah. If you ever want to see a man lose his temper as much...
good.
Yeah, that was a
so you're saying that a child is innocent and is not innocent and deserves to be raped?
Yeah, no, we're all born sinners, remember? So
it's funny you say that, right? Because Finlay, it's my stepson, watches these kids show thing on YouTube, right? And it's like, this American women playing with toys. And it's obviously meant to be pushing some sort of religious message, right? Now, it's not super over the top, right? It's literally a woman playing with toys and making up stories. It's quite interactive for kids. That content is great, right? Maybe 10, 15 minutes. But the end of it, there's this theme song, and it's like, we all have sin, We all have sin. Our sin is cleansed by the glory of God, or something like that, right?
My.
And see, every time it's on, I'm like, I just want to mute the TV, because Finlay doesn't have sin. Finlay's a 4-year-old boy who gets excited at the idea of calling you stinky butt and saying fart.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, you can't say fart in church, so sin.
True.
Evil.
And in the bin you go. Nah, I don't. I try and draw a line in distinction for myself personally. Sure. This might not work for anybody else, right? I have no problem with people who have faith, but I think when religion gets involved, it becomes something different.
It's like just a good way of looking at things.
Do you know what I mean? Like, because if you have faith in something and it's a belief system that works for you, it's not organised other than what you believe, and it makes you happy and it gives you positive energy and it does positive things for you and others, sound, no bother. That's nothing to do with if you're not religious, you don't have a good moral compass.
Yeah.
Like,
the second you start grouping together and trying to agree on how you should all live your lives, and more importantly, tell other people how they should or shouldn't live their lives. We talked this on the show before. Personal freedoms. I'm all about personal liberty, and so there you go. I mean, probably everybody's turned off at this point. But why don't we close up with? Okay, we'll do the Beam. The Blug guitar, the Thomas Blug, has released the Amp 1 with the Iridium edition of the Blug guitar. Have you seen this pedal? Do you know this pedal, the original one?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I've tried one a few times and it was a wee bit noisy, but as a concept and the actual finished product, it's fucking incredible. But I mean, I expect nothing else with Thomas Blug. Yeah,
so this is John Brown demoing it.
Why does he get a shot of him kidding his talk over the top of that? Why does he get a shot of him talking over a theme song when he's not talking? Cool intro, otherwise.
You probably control the sound like this.
With bands flying everywhere.
Let's just hear it, because
Ola done a video and I've not listened to that. Presence.
I'm expecting there to be a demo because it's John. Nope. Okay, so it's just John playing around, which is, fine, cool. I can't comment on how good this piece of gear is. What I can say is I played the original. I thought it was quite cool. I don't think this is going to be a replacement for for a metal, like a serious metalhead. They're not going to go, you know what, I'm going to ditch my Rev.
It's a fly rig.
Yeah, but not even I wouldn't even say for a pro. Like, you know who I'd say this would be useful for? Like a cover band type thing. You're not a metal guitar player, but there's some heavy stuff that you have to play as part of a set. This will do the job for you. That's my gut feeling on it.
That's fair enough. You might be right. I'd imagine there will be guys who get a shot at it and go, cool, this has got the tone that I need. Perfect, yeah. I'm so happy. I'm right in thinking that's got the power amp built in, hasn't it?
Yes.
Like 100 watts or something.
Yeah.
I found great results recently and I can't see past it. Pedal board, 0.44 Magnum, Electro Harmonics power amp, the Rev G3, noise gate, and a tuner, and I genuinely can't see past it.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing in Bristol at the weekend, and I was playing and it was loud as fuck and it sounded great. It was really pushing the cab. I think it was actually a bass cab, right? It was like almost oversized, but it was like 12-inch drivers. Anyway, it sounded great, and the sound guy came up and he was just looking about and he's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, you don't have an amp? And I'm like, that's my amp there. And he was just like, fucking hell, that sounds great. And I was like, I know, it's fucking super aggressive. It's great. And see, because it's hundreds of clean power, it pushes the speakers dead easy. So you can saturate away and have great fun. Anyway, fly rigs. I can't see past them at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I would, I'd love to try one. Like, I'm all up for trying pieces of gear. I'm not saying...
Thomas Blug, I know you're listening, send us one.
Yeah. Like I say, honestly, played the original one, thought it was a cool piece of kit. Thought it was-
Definitely.
in fact, if memory serves me correctly, it came into Lick Library, Guitar Interactive magazine, for review. And Tom Quayle reviewed it. And we all tried it. We all thought it was pretty cool. And I kind of wanted it, but Tom took it. Tom bought it. I'm sure Tom took that home, if memory serves me correct. Certainly, there was someone at Lick Library that bought it because they were that impressed with it. They thought it was a good piece of kit. So
That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
and I didn't get the opportunity. It was snapped up before I had the opportunity. So I'm sure the second one will be
Grasped from your hands.
yeah.
I guess we'll
Probably
just need
for
to
the
go
best.
to Guitar or somewhere and play with it.
That's actually a good point. I've not been in a while. Okay, funny meme. Yep. I hate Floyd's. They never stay in tune.
When I first looked at this, I was like, no wonder the trem's right in the body. It's not
Yeah.
even balanced. And then I went, wait a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Why are the string winds there?
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a TTM. Oh, TTM. There we go. Let's do the TTM.
Oh, that was a great accidental segue.
Yeah. So I have it on good authority. I have it on very good authority.
That allegedly.
Yeah, and when I say very good authority, allegedly, from NAMM's lawyers, legal team, that TTM guitars will not be appearing at the 2020 NAMM show. So,
How are they going to have that big TTM and Dorsey Master Jam now?
I know.
The concert that everybody was looking forward to?
I know. I cannot wait to see what Lance tells all of his followers, like, for the reason that they're not there.
Right, let's just cancel our tickets. We can't go. Sorry, Perry.
Yeah. So I'm trying to reach out to Guitar Summit, who have it's the Mannheim, Germany show that's in a couple of weeks. TTM are supposed to be appearing at that. And I mean, this is essentially what I fucking was trying to reach out to them and warn them about. When this inevitably goes south and loads of people get fucked over for money, right? I'm not going to be able to do anything other than say, Guitar Summit were warned about this and they chose to do nothing. And what's that classic saying? Evil prospers in the world when good men choose to do nothing. Like, you have been
You're
warned
getting really
about this.
deep and philosophical tonight, and it's not like a wee 3 or 4 word statements. Everything's like totally fucking accurate. I like it. It's good.
I spend a lot of time thinking about life. What can I say?
Good.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
this will be interesting to see what happens for
Yeah,
here.
I'm really interested to see what happens to this, and I just hope Guitar Summit have the. And it's not out of spite. I can't be clear enough about this. It's not out of spite. It's not to kick Lance. It's to stop people from losing their money. That's all this comes down to. It's the only reason I ever did this. The only reason I ever done any of my rage videos after like Tom Hess and things like that. It was just to protect our community. The reason I did the Stevie T videos to protect our community and to look after people within our community, to be the guy that stands up and goes, you know what, look, think the situation may look shit, the Stevie T thing, situation may look shit, you're a young guitar player, you don't want to put videos online because, famous people might make fun of you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. He's a piece of shit. There's all these people out here that love and support you. You go do your thing. You go have fun. We're supposed to be a community that nurtures each other. We're supposed to look after each other because that's how the community grows, by nurturing each other, not letting shit like this TTM situation, not letting this happen. There are too many people, of course I don't need to name names, there are too many people that are in the industry that behind closed doors are all very vocal about situations like the Hess situation or the TTM situation or even the Stevie T thing. Like any of these things that have really got my goat, if you like. They're very vocal about it, but will never be vocal about it publicly. And I get why, I do understand why, but I don't have those same concerns. I love this community. I love the guitar playing community. I've met so many amazing people from all over the world, and I'm proud to. I mean, I moved country because of good people that I met from this community.
And then you end up stuck with me.
Yeah.
The fuck did you do wrong?
Yeah. I'm very proud to be part of this community, and I will fight it. I will fight to defend it. And to see like kids being ripped off for hundreds of dollars. There are people that have been sent their TTM guitars. They've turned up. They've been the wrong color, like the neck's been the wrong wood and stuff like this. And they're like, oh, cool. At least it showed up. And what that really means is they just don't want to go, you were right. So they'll just
But I don't
pretend
even
like they're
think-
happy.
I don't even think it's about accepting that you were right. I think it's accepting that they were wrong. It's nothing about you.
Sure.
It's that horrible feeling of, oh, fucked it. Like, why didn't I listen? And you know what? We've all had it. We've all had egg in our face. We've all had that fucking horrible sinking gut feeling of, why didn't I listen?
Yep.
Should have seen this for the fucking start. How did it get this far?
And the important thing is knowing that it's never too late to say, I was wrong, and be welcomed back into the community.
They were never shunned. Like, accept that you're not right all of the time and be humble about it, and you'll be happier in yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Yep. And maybe take advice from more experienced people in future. Learn from it. Like, I didn't have a horse in this race.
Some people need to learn the lesson themselves, mate.
True. No, absolutely.
Done it myself.
Yep. Who was I talking to about this? I was talking to Haley's dad about this. He's saying, and this is well known, smart people learn from their mistakes, but the smartest of people learn from other people's mistakes. And that, of course, is something that, in an ideal world, that's how we'd all live. We'd all learn from everyone else's mistakes. But actually, I think it's almost impossible to learn from other people's mistakes. I really do. Because I think that when push comes to shove, in the moment, you always feel that you know better. And you have to make that mistake to learn it. So
just learn the lesson, and that's all that matters.
Yep. Who doesn't make mistakes? I'm currently embroiled is probably the wrong word. I'm currently having to deal with someone that I bought something online for. I went against my better judgment and paid via PayPal using friends and family, and the item has not shown up. And no matter how much I push, I cannot get a tracking number out of them. So I have to go.
How close are they?
Chichester.
We're going to drive?
I mean, it's 120 quid.
Not the point.
I'll get it back, don't worry.
No. Like, are we going to drive?
I mean, I don't have their address. Why would I have their address? They're sending me something. So, yeah.
You've got the PayPal address. I'm sure you can get the physical details from that.
No, not.
Anyway,
yeah.
That's just incriminating.
Yeah, good. Yeah, fair point. Okay, last story. We'll do this super quick. So the music biz will split from California if the new gig law sticks, warns artists and label groups. So
California being radical as usual. Fucking big up. I'm into it.
In summary, what this essentially is everything I'm against, right? Which is big government getting involved and bringing in legislation that isn't necessarily needed. Bring it in where it is needed. This isn't a law surrounding gigs, but unfortunately it captures musicians. So the idea, AB5, converts independent contractors into regular employees. So if you're an independent contractor for a company, you would be deemed a regular employee, which impacts a diverse pool of freelancers from Uber drivers to scuba divers. Don't know why they went with scuba divers. I guess
it rhymes Uber drivers.
But yeah, among the loudest opponents are newspapers, movie makers, adult entertainment companies, and truck drivers, some circling the Capitol in big rows, honking horns. Music industry horns are blaring too, as the bill's wide net has caught labels and music professionals, from session musicians and vocalists to producers, engineers, songwriters, tour managers, roadies, among others. So what this essentially means is, or what it could mean, is as an independent contractor, so say you're a session musician, if you are doing sessions for a recording company, you are no longer an independent contractor doing sessions. You are an employee, and therefore what comes with that would be employee benefits.
Yep, healthcare.
Yeah.
I don't know if the pensions really work in the States, or is it more of a, you have a savings, whatever. You are no longer just working on your own and getting paid. You are underneath that umbrella.
Yeah. Now, go on.
Maybe it's the right idea and the completely wrong implementation.
I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to convince you that it's the wrong idea.
But maybe I'll put it better and say that it's a bad solution for a worse problem.
I think it's just a situation. It's a case of trying to meld together two ideas that don't work. You're trying to force capitalists to be socialist. You know what I mean? Like those two, they're never going to marry into each other, especially in a country like America that is so capitalist.
You know what gets me about America, and this is not a slate on people in America or whatever, but capitalism in general, at will states you can be fired at will. That you have no reason, or you are not entitled to reason, compensation, notice, anything. It's just we don't want you, you're gone. That's fucked.
Yeah, there are genuinely some very questionable. I mean, do you know how little holidays American employees get versus us?
I was speaking to, who's now a friend of mine, Steve. The first time I went to America, he was a good friend of my two friends, Jono and Chrissy, who introduced us. He's an electrician. He worked at the company he worked for like 6 years, and he was allowed 2 holidays a year. And I don't mean 2 periods of holiday, 2 days. 2 days paid holiday.
Yeah. How much do you get?
28. No, sorry, I get 20 a year, but I also only work half the year because of my 4 on 4 off pattern.
Okay. Yep.
So essentially, if I take holidays, I work for 5 months and 10 days a year.
Yeah. My wife has just come back from. It was initially 3 weeks, but she lowered it down to 2 weeks because she only needed the two weeks. I think she gets 4 and a bit weeks of holiday a year.
Mm-hmm. Between 22 and 28 standard in the UK.
Yeah.
Sometimes less if you get bank holidays, because you'll still get paid for them. They're just like work shut, not your fault. You still get paid that salary.
Yeah. So
that might not last for too long though. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
So let's not brag.
Good point. So here's the shitty part, right? Because there's always going to be exceptions. Curiously, many kinds of workers were granted exemptions from the new law, including insurance brokers, doctors, dentists, lawyers, architects, engineers, private investigators, accountants, investment agents, salespeople, real estate agents, and commercial fishermen, among others. So there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people that seem to be exempt from this law. A lot of them seem to be ones, where they wouldn't want to be caught up in this law because they can earn more money. It's almost like they're looking after the interests of people that can make money. I get why a law like this has been brought in, or why a law like this could potentially be brought in. You're trying to look after people who can be screwed over from being an independent contractor when realistically they probably should be an employee.
I think it's California trying to be progressive and just going a bit too far.
Yes. I don't see this going through. Again, not a lawyer, but I don't see this going through because it would cripple Hollywood. It would absolutely cripple Hollywood.
But maybe we'll get rid of the Scientologists then.
They probably do fine out of it.
Aye, true.
Yeah. Experts are saying that if this happens, expect the new recording capitals of the world to be Nashville and New York. And I can totally see that. That would absolutely be the case. Because it's just not practical to be giving employee benefits to session musicians who might be working for you 1 or 2 days a month. It just doesn't. Maybe it's being in the UK why it doesn't compute. But if I'm an independent contractor, if I'm a session I'm currently, that's what I do. Not a session musician, but I'm an independent contractor. I work for many people doing many different jobs.
Yes.
Let's just talk my transcribing business. If each person that I did transcriptions for had to have me on the books as an employee, I'd be getting employee benefits from 10 different companies.
Yes, which is mental. I don't think that was the intended target, though. I think it's meant to be more like the only example I can imagine that translates between the two countries is people here on 0-hour contracts.
Yeah.
Protecting some sort of workers' rights to give people who maybe are only being offered independent contractor freelance work, so therefore you can be kicked, just fired for any reason, not looked after, no health insurance, but etc. Blah blah blah, to give them more of a solid foundation and look after them. But it'd be like saying that everybody that's on a 0 hours contract now has to get 30 hours at all times. Like, what if they've got 3 jobs?
Yeah, and more importantly, nothing's more important than that. But another thing to consider is, what if the company can't afford to give all these employees 30 hours a week? What happens? People get fired because we can't afford to. People get made redundant.
What if the independent contractors don't want that? What if that goes against what they want?
Yeah, so when I'm looking at this, that's what I'm really struggling with. I'm trying to work out whether or not I'm looking at things from the corporate perspective of you're making business harder for us to do. Meaning we're having to pay people more. There's more paperwork involved. Costs for us go up significantly. So am I feeling sorry for them, or am I looking at the people at the bottom who are the independent contractors who are going, well, no, we don't want this. And are they saying, no, we don't want this for reasons for their own benefits, or are they saying, no, we don't want this because we don't want the people above us to be under more strain because that means it's harder for us to get work? What I can say is session guitars will die if this happens, because it'll just be done in-house in samples. It'll be done digitally. Which, yeah. So, crazy.
We'll be shit.
Crazy. You're crazy. Apparently I can do a Manuel impression.
You're a nut. You're as crazy as a coconut. What does that mean? That boy needs therapy. Mind that song?
No.
No?
No. You're not going to tell me what it is? No.
No.
Fine.
I'll put it on after this.
We're done. Yeah. So, cool. So one last final thank you to Ormsby Guitars. I'm not even going to bring the website up because I've done that twice already. But thank you so much for the support. I would urge you to go and check out Ormsby Guitars, because especially with the Reverb store up, you can really see what it is that you can get your hands on almost immediately. Because you could consider that to be the downside of the Ormsby thing. If you get involved with a run, you've got production time, things got to be shipped, set up, and then shipped onto you. That takes time. Whereas if you go on their website now, and you can just look at their Reverb store, see what's in stock,
best of both,
and just pick something up. Yeah, and there's some great looking guitars on there. So
I think there's been quite a few people, certainly from what I've read in the GTR owners group, of people who have jumped onto a run like, yes, I can't wait. Yeah. I'm happy to wait the 10 months or whatever, but I've got my pre-order, and then a week or two down the line, maybe a month or two, like, I bought one off Reverb as well.
Yeah, can't wait. I did that with my first Minus, didn't I? I ordered the custom shop one, and then like 2 weeks later, I was like, well, I can't wait. I'm going to buy a second hand one just so I've got something.
That's it. Both feet first.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I don't regret that at all. I love those guitars, but
you shouldn't regret it.
It could potentially be the same. So yeah, please do go and check out Ormsby Guitars. Let them know that we sent you. That is Ormsby Guitars. We love them as much as you love us. Is that a thing?
I was going to say, hopefully as much as they love us.
Yeah. Probably we're just a thorn in their side at this point. Those fucking British guitar souls just going on. The stupid Scot and the stupid English guy. Fucking dressed up like a Les Paul. And what's going on here? Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode or watching this episode. If you are watching, please do give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below. We read them all. We're happy to get back to you. We love engaging with you guys. You can check out our t-shirts on Teespring. If you look for Guitar Souls t-shirt, I'm sure you can find one. I mean, I've not checked that. We've probably sold one in the last year, so our hosting probably isn't going to be covered soon. So sort that out, guys. Buy t-shirts. Yeah, no, it's a great way to support us. I have to do it at the end of every single video of my Patreon, just constantly like, support me on Patreon, please
give money, please.
Yeah, I rely on it. Thank you very much. But yeah, check us out on Teespring, and please do grab a t-shirt.
Who knows? There might even be another design goes up, and maybe even some other merchandise. Who knows? There might be a new logo on the way at some point.
It will definitely happen as soon as my guitar shows up. So like, comment, share, subscribe, tell your pals, tell your enemies, and reach out to us. We are always happy to talk to you guys, get feedback, and take questions on things like that. We do enjoy stuff like that. Anything else you want to add?
Just thank you for listening, and sorry.
I am so sorry. Until next time.
Bye, fuckers.